No mention of psychiatric problems under the warning section of that package insert.
There's alternatives that can be taken. There's just no reason that Americans should be taking Lariam.
Doxycycline, a common antibiotic, and Malarone, approved 2 years ago, are both effective in preventing malaria and have fewer psychiatric side effects than Lariam. To ask both the FDA and the CDC about how well the American public is informed of Lariam's potential dangers, but both government agencies chose not to do an interview. The FDA did send us a statement saying that Lariam's benefits far outweigh its risks. Roche also declined our request for an interview, but sent us this statement saying in part that no prescription drug is free of side effects. Roche also said there's no way for a physician to predict every person at risk for psychiatric side effects. Linda Perry considers her husband a perfect example of that. Did your husband have any prior history of depression or mental illness?
Absolutely none.
In 1998, Linda and Chuck Perry left their Midwest ranch and their 7 children to go on an African safari for their 30th wedding anniversary. Linda, a registered nurse, checked with her doctor, pharmacist, and local health department. For malaria protection, they all recommended Lariam.
The first warning I ever got was from the safari guide in Africa. She says to me, well, why do you take Lariam? And it's a hallucinogen, very much like LSD. And I said, the CDC recommends it. And she said, well, we never take it.
After 4 doses of Lariam, the Perrys were having night sweats and vivid nightmares. But everyone, including the CDC, had stressed taking the full dose of the drug, which meant taking it for 4 weeks after the trip. That's when Chuck Perry's real problems began.
Didn't know where he was. He ran out in the yard. I can remember tackling him in the yard, saying, what are you doing? What are you doing? You know, the neighbors are after me, somebody's after me, and it was just bizarre, just bizarre.
You had never seen anything like this from him
Nothing,
before?
Ever. He's the rock of the earth, salt of the earth.
Chuck Perry was hospitalized and tested repeatedly. A team of doctors became convinced that Lariam was responsible. And told you you could do what?
They didn't know what to, we didn't know what to do. Let him rest. They didn't know, nobody knew what to do.
6 months after returning home from Africa, Chuck Perry committed suicide.
We had no way to know that this drug would be so powerful that it could alter his personality so much and damage him so much that he would in fact do that in some type of delusion or hallucination. That's what we didn't know.
But Roche did know something about Lariam and suicide. Over the past year, 2 UPI reporters, Dan Olmsted and Mark Benjamin, unearthed these internal documents. They show that by the time Chuck Perry killed himself, the company knew of at least 7 suicides and 13 suicide attempts by people living outside the United States, all associated with Lariam. But nowhere in its product information was there any mention of the word suicide. After 2 years of trying to attribute Chuck Perry's suicide to other causes, Roche quietly settled a wrongful death suit with Linda Perry last May. 2 months later, Roche dramatically changed its product information. Psychiatric side effects are now in the warning section, including, for the first time, rare cases of suicide.